Hello there, good evening, and welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation podcast live with me, your host, Owen David, and our brand new co-host of the channel, guys, who's joined me now, Laura. Laura, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm all good, Laura, all good. And Laura, I think it's fair to say it's been a pretty good weekend so far.
Fantastic weekend so far. I'm on a high.
And Laura, in particular, how was your Saturday?
Saturday was fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic. Probably the best part about my Saturday was this Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard.
We're talking off air about that, and Laura was just giving us sort of a general flavour of the. I think the word we can use, Laura, was meltdown going on across the city.
Meltdown, Timplosion, whatever you want to call it. They were not happy.
And you love to see it. You love to see it. You know, Laura, I was just saying on the stream on Saturday, there was only one thing that really I think could have just finished Saturday perfectly for me, would have been those three magic words to utter near the end of the game on Saturday. Would have been penalty to Rangers. That would have been just the final, I don't know, the pièce de résistance, wouldn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And if you look back at Saturday's game, we were absolutely denied a penalty. There was a clear handball. That was a penalty. Don't know what happened there. I mean, it happened in front of the ref. Where's VAR? Never get mentioned. Was it say three magic words? But whenever.
But that would have just completed the Timplosion, I think, if that had actually happened.
Absolutely, it would have been fantastic.
Absolutely, and you know what? I mean, I'd given that lot up the north coast of sheep a fair slagging all day on X, and they actually came quite good for us in the end. And I think they were unlucky not to actually get all 3 points, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm the same. I watched the second half of the game. For what I'd heard, Celtic had actually done not bad in the first half, but I don't know, I've never seen it. Second half, it was all Aberdeen, and I think they were very unlucky not to get another couple of goals. I think they were very unlucky not to win. Celtic just crumbled in the second half.
Absolutely. And as Stuart says here in the live chat, been a good weekend, but I can only see things getting better now, mate. We are on the up and they are just crumbling. A lot of people agreeing with him there. We've got Stuart also saying here, Brenda working with a squad of players. Ange built, had firing. He's come in and they have went backwards. Clemons came into Beale's mess and turned it round. The best out of the players. What we thought were done. It's clear who the better manager is. I think, just one word. Oh, just a summary, really. Laura, Philippe Clement has done just amazing, hasn't he, since he's come in?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Beale messed up big time and Clement has come in and week by week he's fixing this team. We're seeing a completely different team. He is the kind of manager Rangers needed. No nonsense manager. He's done amazing.
Absolutely, 100%. And Crib talks about the fact that there was a few of the Celtic players should have had a second yellow yesterday, but we all know that never ever happens ever. That's just does not occur at all. Poor Brenda. Just hope they don't break into his house again, says Peter. Laura, are you expecting a shower of sharks in the Glasgow area anytime soon?
Do you know, it's so funny. I just keep seeing it everywhere. And I was on live earlier as well, and everybody's just sending wee pictures of sharks. Aye, absolutely. I'm loving it.
Absolutely. Blue Baron says them not winning hope will have a knock-on effect for the rest of the season. Lots of people in the comments commenting. We'll try and get through as many as we can, obviously, as we go through this show. Blue Baron says he can't wait for European football. Obviously, that European football squad was selected this week. Crib says that Aberdeen should have got a penalty, which wasn't VAR checked at all. It does seem that the VAR is turning into a complete and utter farce again. Still got plenty of games to go. I won't be getting ahead of myself. Tuesday is a must 3 points, or Saturday means nothing. We will be talking about Aberdeen shortly. Well, they're the end of the pod, obviously, but looking ahead to that game. John saying good evening to us both. We've got as well Alistair in Missouri, USA. Great weekend, big cloud across the city, all bright and governed. I love the podcast, guys. Thank you to Alistair. He's in Missouri in the USA, which is, I'm not quite sure what time it is there. Probably about what? 2 o'clock in the afternoon or something. I don't know. Those time zones do my head in. I can't get my head around them at all. Laura, so yesterday's game, obviously, we'll talk about that shortly, but let's just sort of summarise. The transfer window closed rather bizarrely on the 1st of February. Laura, are you glad that the transfer window is now closed and that's all over and done with, and we could just concentrate on the rest of the season now?
I'm glad that it's kind of over and done with, because you're sitting for days on end, like you're saying, constantly refreshing, waiting for news, and you want this to happen and you want that to happen. That's it. We didn't quite get what we wanted, but it's done. Time to move on and start focusing on Tuesday and let the transfer window lie as it is.
Absolutely. And look, I think, we brought in some decent players. Obviously, we didn't see anything of Diamande yet. He was unveiled yesterday. Nice to see him on the pitch yesterday. But, there's a lot of people saying, why wasn't he included? But, as I've said on a number of videos now, he hasn't played since November. He needs time to get back up to match fitness and obviously be ready to play again. But we got to see, obviously, Fabio Silva again yesterday, and we'll talk about him shortly. Oscar Cortez came on yesterday. Laura, what did you make of Oscar Cortez yesterday? Little that we saw him.
Obviously, we never get too much time to see him. What I did see, he never done anything wrong. I think I need to see a wee bit more of him before I have an opinion, but I've certainly not got anything negative to say about him so far.
Yeah, he looked tidy for me. He looked tidy, He looked skillful. And, it's going to take time, isn't it? To come from playing in the French league to playing in Scotland, it's a completely different animal. As I've said, numerous times, guys, on videos, British football is quite unlike anything else across Europe. The physicality, the speed, and Scotland especially has that physicality and speed, doesn't it, Laura?
Yeah, absolutely. Coming to Scotland for another country, it's never going to be easy. You're not just going to gel straight into a team. It's going to take a wee bit of time. But I think he'll get there, and like you're saying, he looked sharp, and I will just need to wait and see how it goes. But I'm fairly confident that he's going to be a good player, and I just hope he does gel in Scotland well.
Absolutely. RFC72 makes an interesting point here. He says, if we only had Clement from the start of the season and not that fraud, we'd be in a great position right now. Laura, do you think the league would look a lot different if we'd had Clement from the start of the season?
Absolutely. Beale made some big mistakes. He spent a lot of money. He just was not managing material. If we had Clement, his style of management is, I've not seen it at Rangers for a long, long time. And if we had that for the start of the season, I would confidently say, we would have either be, neck and neck with Celtic or ahead of Celtic. I don't think we would have had that big gap that we had. That gap that we're closing in on right now.
Absolutely, 100%. One thing for me, Laura, is that I'm seeing that I never saw under Michael Beale was an improvement week on week on week, and just an improvement not only in how they're playing, but in terms of their mentality, in terms of the fact that yesterday's game for me in the past would have been a game where after they dropped points, we probably would have messed it up under Beale or under Gio. There's a real change of mentality, isn't there, amongst the players?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I remember on quite a few occasions when Celtic did drop points, we just knew that we were also going to then go and drop points. It's not like that now. I can see a totally different mentality in the team. I feel like they're up for it. They've got a bit more passion. For a while there, I just felt like Rangers had no passion, no drive. They were really sloppy. And that, for me, has completely changed week in, week out. I just see a much better team, a much stronger team, more positive. I'm really happy with the team now.
Absolutely. And you know what? When you watch Big Phil as well and you look over at him, his passion and his emotion, that's got to transfer to the players because he is constantly on it, isn't he? And one of the moments that that always resonates with me with Big Phil and what he demands from the players, I think it was either Hibs or Hearts away. I can't remember what it was now. And we were winning the game quite easily, and it was about the 94th minute, and Dessers doesn't chase the ball down. And he goes absolutely mental at him for not chasing that ball down, even though the game is over and won. His standards must be so high.
I remember what game, I'm pretty sure it was Hearts, because I said the exact same thing. I was like, look at this, the game's nearly finished, we've won, but look at Clermont right in there, telling, play to the whistle, this game's not finished yet, keep going. And you notice as well, whenever a player comes off, he stands there and he has, even if a 30-second chat with them, he never just lets them walk by, he grabs them as soon as they come off, has a wee chat with them, and then lets them go. And I think that's amazing.
Absolutely. And Gross Scotland says Dick Advocat was the last era I seen this kind of fluidity. Yeah, certainly a great era in Rangers history, and great, obviously great to get back to those types of eras. Obviously under Philippe to get us back to the Souness eras, to the Smith eras, to Dick Advocat, and obviously Big Eck as well. Stuart says he's still raging for Beale for making a complete mess of that Europa League squad. Yeah, Laura, before we talk about yesterday's game, the Europa League squad, obviously we made that video the other day where we talked about who we'd like to see in the squad, who we'd like to see out of the squad. Were you surprised in the end at the three names that you put in Diamande, Silva and Ridvan, and left Cortez out?
No, see, to be honest, I'm not surprised at all. I mean, I knew he was going to put Ridvan in. I think Silva was one of the ones that I kind of wanted to see in there. I mean, he's got experience playing European football. So no, once I seen it, I thought, you know what, I think he's made good choices, and I was quite happy with it. What about you? Would you wanted to see Cortez, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, look, I realistically did want to see Cortez, but I can see why he's done what he's done, and he's been totally hamstrung by the fact that Beale made such a god-awful job. But I don't wholly blame Beale. Part of me kind of questions UEFA's wisdom on this whole situation. You're moving to a different phase of the competition under a new manager. Surely there should be a situation where when you move out of that group stage, you can substantially change your squad. You can say, right, that squad's done and dusted. That was my group stage squad. Now it's time that I'm able to select my squad. And Philippe Clermont was, for me, totally hamstrung by the fact that he could only put 3 players in and take 3 players out. And yes, I agree. Like you said, Laura, Ridvan had to go in. Ridvan has been absolutely fantastic. I think we were coming out with Ridvan Baston yesterday, Ridvan Aldo, Ridvan Carlos yesterday. Lots of different names.
Quick question while we're there: was that a cross or was that a shot from Ridvan?
I think he was insisting it was a shot. Looking at that video when Taverns Fabio Silva were having a go at him, he to me looked like he was insisting it was a shot. And to be honest with you, on his recent form, Laura, I'm going to go for shot. What about you?
I think it was a shot. Was it not the other way around? I thought he was saying to Tav, it was a cross, and Tav was saying, no, that was a shot, and he was saying, on my cross. But I
don't know, but it was a shot. Let's take it as a shot.
A good shot as well.
Could you imagine if that had gone in, that would have been goal of the season. It would have been phenomenal.
Absolutely. It was incredible.
Absolutely. A great point here from John O from the Isle of Man. He says European rule negates the point of the winter transfer window and only helps teams with more money. That's a great shout, that actually, isn't it? I mean, what if we had gone and signed a striker as well? That'd have been 4 players in. Plus Ridvan, that's 5. Plus Leon Balogun, 6. You've got some Dowell as well, but I know Dowell's not fit. So possibly out of 7 players, and you can only put 3 in. It's a great point from John there. To me, it's a ridiculous rule that you can only put 3 in.
I completely agree with it. Like you said, I think, once that first group's out the way, why can you not pick a different team? I don't do the reason why they have these rules in place. I don't understand the rule. Do you know why?
No, I don't either. I just think it's a ridiculous rule. I think it's a really silly rule. Especially as they've got rid of the rule about there's no such thing as cup tied in Europe, so you can, even if players have previously played for other teams, you can put them into your squad. To me, it's a different stage of the competition, and especially when you've got Champions League teams dropping out of the Champions League into the Europa League. Again, I just don't get the point of why you can't wholly change that squad. And look, I'm not just saying that because it's disadvantaged us. I'd say that no matter who was in it, I think it is it's a completely new stage. You should be allowed to completely select a brand new squad.
I completely agree. 100% agree with it. And I think Phil he would pick a cracking squad right now.
Absolutely. You look at the likes, obviously, of Big Leon, who is going to miss out. Big Leon, obviously, yesterday goes off with that injury, Laura. And I don't know if you heard Philippe Clermont's comment after the game, but he says that Big Leon will be back soon because he's a warrior, was his exact words.
And for what I believe, I think he only came off because there was a chance he had a slight concussion. I can't see it being anything to worry about. He'll be match fit again.
Stephen, thanks very much for that, mate. Seriously. Seen that comment, Laura?
Oh, Stephen.
Thanks for that, Stephen. We've got Grow Scotland saying Rid fans like we, Nacho Novo and James Tavernier's love child. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, obviously, we'll obviously wait and see what happens with Leon Balogun, obviously going into Tuesday's game. But, I thought John Suter did really well when he came on, to be perfectly honest with you. Continued that excellent form that he's had recently.
I completely agree. As soon as he came on, you could see straight away, he was up for it and he played really well. And on that as well, and I know it's a bit controversial, but I felt like Barisic played so well yesterday. And I don't know if you were watching on Rangers TV, but the pundits said, if he hadn't been took off, he was actually going to be their man of the match.
Interesting one, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think, to be honest with you, Laura, looking at yesterday's game, there wasn't anyone who had a bad game yesterday. I thought they all played very, very well. They all showed a great mentality. And, I mean, Connor as well had a great game. I thought Connor was fantastic yesterday. He read the game superbly well. He wasn't caught out of position. His tackling was spot on. I thought the whole back four did really, really well yesterday.
I completely agree. They did. They looked so sharp yesterday. The defence was great.
Absolutely. We look like we've got the return of Zorro. Juicy Bear Gaming says Balogun has broken his cheekbone. He'll be fine to play in a mask. So we've got Danilo coming in.
I thought it was just a slight concussion. I didn't realise that.
Absolutely. Stuart says he thought he was tripping when he saw Borna go round a man. Interesting one there. So, Laura, Jake, I know it was only Livingston, right? I get that, but any team that comes to Ibrox will raise their game. Any team that comes to Ibrox is going to try and make it hard for us, and they played the perfect anti-football game yesterday. What were your general thoughts on yesterday's game?
Well, I knew they were going to come. I knew we were going to be playing against a back 10. Very predictable. But we managed to break through. We managed to get some goals. I was impressed with every player on the park yesterday. I don't really have any, what's the word I'm looking for? Criticism for any of the players. John Lundstrom, I wish he could hit the target because he would score some cracking goals if he could just hit the target. But overall, I thought, like I said, it was Livi. But still, we played really well. We showed that we're a good, strong team, and I was happy with the game.
Absolutely. I mean, look at some of the performances, that we put on yesterday, and picking out some of the individual players. I mean, like I said, I know that everyone had a good game, and I did hear, although Jack Butland had very little to do yesterday, I did hear someone write and ask, does Jack Butland get charged admission fee for games like that? Because obviously he didn't do any work yesterday, did he? So does he get charged to sit and watch the game?
Old.
Bless him. He must have been freezing yesterday. One of the questions I was asking, thanks for qualifying that, by the way, that it was Baltic up there, because obviously Cantwell was in gloves, Silva was in gloves, and what's the question? Obviously, why are they wearing gloves? It's one of the things I always wonder. But Fabio Silva yesterday, obviously one of the things that he's been levelled at him is he's not a striker and that he hasn't scored a goal so far, and he was getting some criticism. I thought in general his performance was very good yesterday. His movement was excellent. But he took his goal really well. He worked his backside off yesterday. What were your thoughts on Fabio Silva yesterday, Laura?
That's what I was going to say. He worked his backside off. He gave 100% every minute he was on that park. He had a great goal. I was watching him, and he's constantly watching the ball, and he's getting into position. He's making space. I felt like he was so good yesterday, and I was thinking he is going to be a great player for this team. Like, watch this space. I think he's going to be a cracking player.
Yeah, he looked fantastic, and he started to look like the player that Wolves paid 30. But I think we've got to remember, guys, he was 35 million pounds. That's how much Wolves paid for him. 35 million. Now I know English clubs do pay slightly over the odds because they've got bucket loads of money, but he is a 35 million pound player, and he started to look a little bit like that 35 million pound player. And if we can keep that improvement there, we've got one hell of a player there. And John O says we will win Tuesday, they will choke on Wednesday, let's hope so. Grow Scotland says it's Glasgow, after all it's always Baltic apart from 2 weeks of the year. There we go. Apparently I thought it was just one day out of the year. It wasn't, if I'm being honest with you, Grow Scotland, that it wasn't really cold in Scotland, but there you go. I don't know. Am I being unfair on Scotland there, Laura?
No, not at all. It's absolutely freezing. I agree with you. There probably is one day of the year where it's no freezing. I mean, even summer, it's freezing. We fills up hot water over here in the summer.
Oh my God, not for me then. But I thought as well, one really interesting thing from yesterday was I thought Cantwell and Silva worked really well together yesterday. They really linked fantastically well yesterday. It was start of a nice combination between the two of them.
Aye, I mean, it looked like they two had been playing together for years. They played very well. I mean, Cantwell was outstanding yesterday. I'm pretty sure he got man of the match for both Rangers TV and the sponsors, which was well deserved. Aye, they two are they're gonna be ones to watch. I think I would like to see starting every game.
Absolutely, Cantwell yesterday. I think he's finally obviously getting his form back, and maybe I think that perhaps something was said at half time to him, and he seemed to really up his game second half.
Do you know when I noticed? See, when the fans started singing his song, that's when I seen it. And it can just take the fans to make that happen. You could see the wee smirk on his face when they were singing for him, and then I just thought, look at him go now. He is chasing that ball constantly. He just upped his game. I think Cantwell knows the fans were starting to back off him a wee bit because I don't know what happened. They kind of disappeared for a wee while. So I'm hoping the performance we're seeing for him there, I'm hoping that stays ongoing now.
Absolutely. And the other thing as well from yesterday, from the second half, he seemed to get a little bit of the devil back in him again. And I think, to be honest with you, if you take that out of his, and I know he gets criticised for it at times, the attitude and the throwing the arms and a little bit of that. But I think if you take that devil out of him, he's not the same player.
That's what makes him who he is. I mean, you're going to have to put a bit of discipline in there. That's fine, but you don't want to change that attitude because that wee bit of devil in him, that gets us somewhere. I don't want to change him too much, and it's the same way as well. Like as far as I believe, Clement's told him he's not to dance when he's celebrating anymore. I thought that was a wee bit shite. Excuse my language. I thought that was a bit unfair, because it was part of his character, part of who he was, but. For what I believe, he's been told he's not allowed to do that anymore either.
Oh, no more griddy after you've scored. I mean, I thought that was great last season. The griddy after you got our goal against St Mirren, and all those people, especially all the little kids doing the griddy. I mean, there you go. Were your boys trying to copy the griddy after that goal, Laura?
Oh, aye, absolutely. My wee boys think I'm so embarrassing because I do it, and the fans all loved it. So we don't want to change Cantwell too much, but I believe he's coming back into his game.
Absolutely, and the goal yesterday, the way he took that goal yesterday. I mean, Ross McCausland, fantastic ball through that defender's legs, and thought Ross did well yesterday as well. And first time finish, and that I think people underestimate how hard it is to hit that ball when it's coming at you at pace. First time, keep it under control and not get it to fly wide or fly over or fly straight at the goalkeeper. Fantastic first time finish.
Oh, I mean, he timed it absolutely perfect. He hit that perfectly for McCausland to Cantwell, and the goal, it was beautiful to watch. I've actually watched it back a good few times now. And speaking of McCausland as well, he had a cracking strike. I felt so sorry for him when it never went in. I thought, oh God, that would have been a cracking goal. He would have been up there for potentially goal of the season as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And Villainous Cosplay agrees with you, Laura. So funny listening to Super Scoreboard yesterday. A lot of entertainment yesterday for a lot of Rangers fans. All that. Stuart says he wants to go into the Old Firm at Ibrox 5 points ahead. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Primetime says he doesn't care what Cantwell does off the field. Nothing to do with me. He can do what he wants. Just keep scoring. And Sharpie, obviously welcome to Sharpie as well, says Cortez looked okay. I think he's going to be some player for us. Let's hope so. And Gross Scotland, one thing he says about Cantwell, and I think it's something we all love about Cantwell as well, is I love that he's a wee wind-up merchant on and off the pitch, particularly towards them, isn't he, Laura?
Aye, absolutely. And that's why the Celtic fans hate him, because he is a wee wind-up merchant. That's a perfect way to describe him, a wee wind-up merchant, and that is what he is. I love it.
Absolutely. And let's face it, anyone that goes after Chris Sutton's got to be all right.
Aye, of course.
There we go. Now one player we do want to talk about yesterday. Absolutely fantastic goal from him yesterday. Someone who is very much dividing fan opinion, and I know I know you have your opinion on him, Laura. Rabbi Matondo yesterday, great finish. What was your take on Rabbi yesterday?
Credit where it's due. His goal was fantastic. You know, he placed that perfectly. And you know what? I think he actually played well yesterday. My overall opinion on Rabbi is I don't like him as a player. I don't think he's good enough to play with Rangers. He makes far too many mistakes. I actually get annoyed when I see that he's on the park. But to give him his due yesterday, he did play well, and his goal was an outstanding goal.
It was absolutely fantastic goal. A fantastic goal. I mean, the way he stops, checks, then comes inside that guy, just bends it round, and Shamal George doesn't even move. He knows he hasn't got a chance of getting anywhere near it. It was a fantastic finish from him. I think I referred to him as a Welsh wizard yesterday, which is obviously not something that normally goes that way. And Primetime says Matondo drives me up the wall. Look, I get the frustration with Matondo. To me, Laura, it's end product at times. It's just what stops him really. I mean, he's got a lightning quick pace. He can go past the man, but what kind of stops him from really kicking on and becoming that top quality player that we want him to be is that end product at times is just so inconsistent.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's inconsistency. Like you're saying, he's got the pace, he's rapid. And we need that. You know, you need that pace in Rangers. So he's got that. Just seems to be when he gets the ball, when he's up there, he's taking all these daft touches. He can't seem to get it past defenders. I just feel like whenever he gets the ball up there, he just makes a mistake. And it's almost every time. I just see myself getting so frustrated with him. Like one of the viewers said there, drives me up the wall. That's what I get with him as well. Like, don't pass to him. It's almost like he gets the ball and he doesn't know what to do with it. I don't know if he panics. I don't know what it is. It's a no for me, so I'm afraid.
Yeah, Matondo needs some composure here, and he would be a fantastic player, says Lost Cause. Curry Muncher, my good buddy Curry, says, hey, Owen, and hi to Laura. Rabbi and BB work well together for me. They do seem to get along together. That's a fair comment as well. Do you think part of it is, I think with Matondo is we're out of options. I know we've got Cortez now who can come in, and perhaps that will change as Cortez grows into the role. But, you know, with Seema out, are we kind of short of options? So it's kind of Matondo or nothing?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. Obviously, Cortez, I'm pretty sure we're going to see more of him there. But for now, I think Rabbi is one of our only options, and Clement knows that. I don't know, Clement, a fan of him. I'm not sure. But I feel like if there was more options, Rabbi wouldn't be starting.
Absolutely, 100%. And Grove Scotland says Matondo makes mistakes because he's a fast lad's brain can't keep up with his feet. Good shout, decent shout. There we go. What else we got? Primetime agrees with you 100% on that one. Pacer says Matondo will come good. Here's a question for us from Curry. Says he is less erratic than Fashion. There's a question. Laura, is Rabbi Matondo less erratic, less hit and miss than Fashion Sakala?
I probably is a bit less erratic than Sakala. I mean, Sakala was, I loved Sakala. I did. You never knew what you were going to get with him. You were either going to get this world-class football player or a donkey. But I would say Rabbi's slightly less erratic than Sakala.
Yeah. I mean, Sakala was one of those players who could literally go from world beater to carpet beater in the blink of an eye. I mean, there was things he'd do, like that Dundee United away game. That volley was outstanding. And the goals against St Mirren at the end of last season. And then you go to obviously those incomprehensible missed open goals against Celtic last season. And you just think, geez, Fashion, what are you on, mate? If you could put together a complete game, you wouldn't be a £5 million player. You'd be a £50 million player.
Aye, that was the thing. He was another one that drove me up the wall. You just never knew what you were going to get with him. He was so inconsistent. Sometimes he was the best player on the pitch. Other times you're like, come on, my 6-year-old son could do better.
Matondo was a bit like Sakala. His legs are ahead of his brain at times. Stephen Clark says Rabbi, like Dessers, is an impact player. Do you think that's perhaps something that, hopefully, obviously with Cortez now coming into the team, Laura, that maybe that Rabbi will become more of that impact player, and that speed against tired defenders is perhaps where he might find a niche in this Rangers team?
Aye, absolutely. I mean, maybe bringing him on the last 20 minutes or whatever to bring a bit of pace into the team, I could see that. I don't think he should be in the starting 11, but an impact player, I could see that. And that's
Absolutely.
me towards him.
Yeah. There we go. Darren says Cantwell, McCausland and Silva could form a very effective front three link up. I think they did yesterday. I thought, like I said, I thought McCausland, you know, I think one thing we need to remember about him is he's still learning the game for me. I know he's 21 years old, which in football terms is not that young anymore. You know, you look at these 15, 16, 17-year-olds playing now in some teams. But in terms of actual first team experience, he is very, very young.
Mm-hmm. He is, and do you know what? He's getting plenty of game time. That's what he just needs a bit more experience. You can see he's a fantastic wee player there. I think Rangers are going to make a fair bit of money off him. You can see just needs a wee bit more confidence, I would say. But great wee player.
Absolutely. And I like Ross. And one thing for me, well, two things I really like about Ross is number one, he's Rangers through and through. And you can see that in the way he plays. And, you know, and the fact that he's, I don't know, there's something special about having someone who comes from the supporter base, kind of someone who's one of our own. There's just something extra special about seeing someone like that out on the park on a Saturday over even the, you know, the £6.5-7 million signings. There's just something special about it, isn't there?
Oh, there is. And that's why the fans absolutely love him. I mean, there's obviously loads of pictures going about him from when he was a wee boy. He played in the Orange Flute bands. He's been a die-hard Rangers fan for day one. So, like, you feel proud of him, you know, that he's came up the ranks and he's where he should be. But you always have that extra soft spot when it's one of your own.
Absolutely, 100%. Curry says, carry on, Laura, sorry.
I was just saying you can see the passion in him.
Absolutely. Curry said, I said on my pod, Owen, that these are the players we have till the end of the season, and we should get behind every single one of them, even the ones we do not personally rate as good enough. Curry, do you agree with that sentiment, Laura?
I mean, I it's fair enough. I get that. You know, we should be backing our players, but people are going to have opinions. Like when it comes to me with Rabbi Matondo, for example, I would love to get behind him, but he'll have to make me get behind him.
Fair enough, absolutely, yeah, and we do get behind the players, and I think we do criticise players when their performance is not up to scratch, and we do pull them up on that performance. I think there's a difference between slagging them off and criticising them when they don't do something and pulling them up on that. It's kind of what coaches. And I know none of us are coaches, but it's kind of a coach's way of looking at it. And I'm okay. I've said this a number of times. I do have my FA coaching licenses, but I'm obviously nowhere near the talent of Philippe Clement, but I do at times watch games with that sort of view. Sharpie says, Laura, is that you in the VIP box at Ibrox behind you?
Yes, it is.
When was that? What was that? When was that game?
I'm looking at it now. I can actually see it better in my mirror. That's not the VIP box. I'm completely lying here. It's not. That was actually just in hospitality. There wasn't a game on because I'm pretty sure I can see the heaters on the grass. It was just lunch. That was before the new Sky Lounge was done. So that was actually the old hospitality. So no, it's just a hospitality seat that looks over onto the pitch.
Cool, excellent. Alistair Cole Kilgore says, is Matondo our version of a super sub? But right now, who's in better place to start? Cortez over the next few games should hopefully see the reasons why Lons brought him to Europe. There's lots of comments going through, guys. We will try and keep on top of your comments and keep bringing them up. Laura, another player yesterday who again, I thought did well for the hour that he was on the pitch. Ryan Jack. To me, look, Ryan is... I love Ryan Jack. I think he's a brilliant player. And his injuries are obviously are really irritating and really annoying. I mean, a couple of things, obviously, to bring up on Ryan. What was your take on Ryan yesterday, first of all?
Well, I absolutely love Ryan Jack. His injuries annoy me, and I wouldn't actually mind if he left. But yesterday he played fantastic. He had an amazing strike. He was so unlucky not to score that. The keeper done well to save it. That could have been another one up there with goal of the season. I thought he played brilliant yesterday.
He did. I was really impressed with him. And I don't know about you, Laura, but to me, whenever Jack plays in midfield, he just makes everyone look better around him because he has such a footballing brain. He just, when Tav goes forward, when Ridvan or Borna goes forward, he drops in and covers naturally. When one of the centre-backs steps out, he drops in and covers. he lets the guy alongside of him go forward. He just makes people look better around him.
He does. He's so experienced. He's such an experienced player. I seen some a comment there saying his time is up. I mean, I still think he has got plenty more seasons in him. He's still a fantastic football player. Because of the injuries, I kind of have to agree with this. I've seen some rumours, that his contract's up and he's going to leave. I don't think I would be gutted to see him go, but I hate to say it, but if he did go, I think it might be the right decision for Rangers to let him go, which I hate saying.
Absolutely. And Curry says here, injuries and not hanging up his boots for Scotland will cost his further career at Rangers after this season, which is such a pity. Laura, do you think with Jack, I mean, obviously his contract's up at the end of this season, do you think Rangers, if we wanted to keep him, and I'm not second guessing what Niels Coppen and Philippe Clement want here, and if they decide to keep Ryan Jack, well, I back them 100%. I've got no reason not to back Coppen and back Clement with the job they've done so far. Do you think that contract offer needs to be done in terms of, right, Ryan, I will give you another year, but you need to retire from international football?
That is exactly what I would say as well. For him to get another contract, he's probably sitting wondering, am I going to get another contract or not? Don't play international football and there's a very good chance you will get another contract because he is so injury prone. You just can't risk that. And we pay him a lot of money as well. So for me, I probably would give him another year's contract and the fact that he doesn't play international football.
Yeah, absolutely. And as John says here, we're in such a conundrum with Ryan Jack and offering him a new contract due to his injury problems. I think at the end of the day, Robert says here, Jack is brilliant, which is what we need for the Old Firm game as he gets it. I think that's spot on comment. I think he's definitely got to start the Old Firm game. But I think in terms of that contract, what we need to do now is just basically we leave it to Philippe Clement to make that decision. Look, someone did make the point here that if you try and find it about his durability and the fact that that Philippe Clement wants players who stay fit, and perhaps he has not got that. Here we go. This is Stuart says Jack was good, but I don't think Clement will keep him. Clement wants players that are fit and durable, which is something we've certainly seen with something that Clement has talked about. And Clement really does have a frustration, doesn't he, with players that get injured. So that could obviously hold back. But I think whatever the decision, Lauren, we just back Philippe Clement and let him make that decision.
That's it. You've got to trust the manager, and I think we all trust him because he's a fantastic manager. He knows more than us. We see Ryan Jack for 90 minutes. He's at training well, and he will make the right decision. And to be honest, I don't think I'm going to be neither up nor down whatever he decides.
Absolutely. I think, look, no matter what we think of the decision, whether we want Jack to go because of his injury things, or we think that Ryan Jack should be given a year's extension to his contract, if that's a decision that Philippe Clement makes, that should give him that contract, we just respect what Philippe Clement wants at the end of the day. William says here, every player who's out of contract should go, in my opinion. We've had these players for way too long, need freshness, I think. Interesting comment there from William. Certainly, we will spend towards the end of the season. I think Laura and I will discuss players out of contract and which ones we keep and which ones we let go. Now, I noticed a point in the live chat, and I'm reticent to bring this up, but the Cyril Dessers miss yesterday, Laura. What was your take on that?
Again, he's one of these players. He scores outstanding goals that are very, very hard to score, and then he's in front of the goal. He should have scored that. I think it would have been harder not to score that. And this is what I mean with him. He's scoring these fantastic goals, and it comes to the easy stuff, and he flopped.
Yeah, that miss yesterday was just... And it's so frustrating. He scores that goal against Hibs, which is an absolutely fantastic world-class finish. He scores that against St Mirren. Okay, the St Mirren goal was, I think, partly down to Lundstrom's pass, and John Lundstrom's pass was amazing, and I do want to mention him as well. But he scores these goals, and you just think, how do you do that? Yet that ball drops to you. You've got time on the ball to hit it, and he's... For me, you watch his position. His positioning is wrong. It's awful. He's leaning back. He's looking up. it goes in. I mean, I think they finally got the ball back off the International Space Station this morning. It was that high. It was absolutely crazy.
Like, I don't even think the best footballers on this planet could have done what he done. Yes, I mean, it would have been so much easier to put that in the back of the net than for it to go as high as it did. He just baffles me.
Absolutely. Sharpie says no pro should miss the target from 8 yards. I mean, even if it hadn't scored, at least the frustration for someone, look, like I keep saying this, look, I'm not anywhere near of the talent level at coaching as Clement or any of those guys, right? Look, but as a coach, one of the things I always demanded from my strikers was take a shot, at least work the keeper, make the keeper work. I don't care if you miss, if he saves it, as long as you work that goalkeeper. And that for me, as a striker, you've always got to work the goalkeeper.
Mm-hmm. And that was laughable yesterday. It's so frustrating. Any strike, in fact, not even striker, any player who's standing there with the ball at their feet, 8 yards for the net, should be scoring. And he somehow manages to sky it right over the stadium.
Absolutely. Growth Scotland says Dessa's a reaction player, in my opinion. If you give him time, he misses every time. Play it in sharp, he bags it. Is it kind of a fashion Sakala 2.0 in the terms of give the guy time to think, he messes it up. Give him no time to think, he scores.
I mean, we've seen it and it's happened. He is another Sakala as well. And I always refer back to the song that the Union Bears used to sing for him, which I'm not going to sing in here because there's too many sweary words, but it just fits them perfect.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Perhaps what we need to do is do like a late night Glasgow Rangers Nation. Then we can have all the swear words we want in it. Maybe, I don't know. That's after 9 o'clock isn't it? That's when the the watershed is. I think 9 o'clock.
Aye.
Bluno says he tends to snatch at his shots when he has time to think about it. The reason Dessers didn't score is it didn't bounce off him, says Prime Time. Slightly unfair, that funny, but nonetheless. So look, yesterday, obviously, it was Livingston. But you've still got to put away what's in front of you. You've still got to beat what's in front of you. And overall, Laura, I was really impressed at the level of performance and the improvement that was made yesterday.
Oh, I completely agree. And like you're saying, it's Livi, but doesn't matter who we were playing. Them being not good didn't make us look good. We looked good because we played good. Every player stepped up yesterday. Everybody showed up. We had a team that gelled together and looked really, really good to watch.
Absolutely. And too many times in the past, that would have just ended up being a draw or a 0-0 or even a dodgy 1-0 victory with a scraped last-minute goal or something. But we never looked under threat yesterday. We never looked worried about winning the game yesterday. It was just for me, it was just showing what Clement has brought to this team.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly it. And do you know what? Obviously down to the players as well, but it is mainly down to Clement and what he's done for this team. I mean, I'm going back a few months now. So when we were playing these teams, we were scraping, we 1-0 wins. We were getting the job done, but it was horrible to watch. It was embarrassing to watch. Even when we won, we were frustrated on how bad the team played. It's not like that anymore. Keep up what we done yesterday and you're going to have a lot of happy fans. These are the games you want to watch. This is the style of football Rangers should be playing.
Absolutely, 100%. Sharpie says if you miss from 8 yards, you should be fined a week's wages. David Phillips makes I think this is a good point, and I think this really does kind of pick up on what we're feeling as a fan base now. And Clement did speak about improving the synergy between the fans and the players. And I've really sensed at Ibrox as well, since Philippe Clement's come in, there's never been a time when the crowd have turned. There's never been a nastiness. And look, I love our fans. Our fans are amazing, but Ibrox can be very toxic at times, can't it?
Yeah, it absolutely can be. Who were we playing? I think it might have been Aberdeen, and they were hammering it. And I remember I got up and left at 65 minutes. And see, when I got outside, the stadium had emptied. I mean, us as fans, I've done it myself, but you shouldn't be doing that. But I think Aberdeen were beating us something like maybe 4-0, 4-1. And by 70 minutes, the stadium was empty, bar the Union Bears. And that's no good as fans, but it's not happening anymore. You know, the stadium's still rocking at 90 minutes.
Absolutely. There's a real synergy there. And David says here, there's a special feeling about our club. Can the dream season happen again? I certainly hope so, David. Quadruple, or whatever you call it when you win four. Of course, no, quadruple is four. Yeah, sorry, triple, treble. I'm being thick tonight. There we go. Spot on, Owen. It was a part of bus where we would have horseshoes it all day in the past. Yeah, we would have done. I think under Beale, I think we would have struggled to break Livi down. I really do. I don't think that is sort of kind of, I don't know what's the word, exaggerating any at all. 100% not exaggerating. Now, Tuesday, I think, will be a different matter for me. Aberdeen on Tuesday, Laura. What's your thoughts on that with Tuesday coming up?
I'm nervous for Tuesday. Listen, Aberdeen's a good team. I watched them play Celtic and they ran Celtic riot. Aberdeen give us such a hard game. We never have an easy game against them. I think we're going to win, but I don't think it's going to be easy. And we need this win on Tuesday. This is massive. So obviously there's going to be a bit of pressure on the players. We need the fans to show up. We need all the players to show up. Like, this is massively important on Tuesday. But I'm a bit nervous. I'm not going to lie.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be a tough game. I mean, I think, second half, they played really, really well. They've sort of changed their formation a little bit. They went with the 4-2-3-1 yesterday from what I've kind of seen, having a quick look. Obviously, we'll look more into the Aberdeen game as the week goes on. But look, at the end of the day, it is going to be a tougher game because the other thing as well, Laura, is that Aberdeen always raise their game hugely against Rangers.
They always have. And you need to fear Miovski as well. I mean, that guy's scoring every game as well.
Absolutely. He's a quality player. William says we need to win the midfield battle on Tuesday. I would play with Jack, Lundstrom and Sterling in midfield if he's fit. I think it will be a battle, obviously, with Graham Shinney around 100%, 100%. Dominic says, this is funny. Thanks again for my Daily Dose of Nation podcast. I'm hearing Owen's voice more than my wife's these days. I'm not going to ask if that's a good thing or a bad thing, Dominic. There we go. Owen, lad, a treble will suffice. We need to get the wee gap over them with trophies overall. They are too close. They are 100%. So, look, it is going to be a harder game. They do raise their game against us. But, one of the things for me as well, Laura, is we kind of, after that draw at Pittodrie, we should have won that game. It was a 1-1, but we had the chances to win. We just didn't take them. And obviously, going back to the last time we played them at Ibrox, it was 3-1. They beat us. It was the end, the straw that broke the camel's back when it came to Beale. We owe them one. We do really owe them one.
Aye, but absolutely. Like I'm saying, I'm backing Rangers. It's massive for them, and I do think we'll get the win. I'm just obviously nervous about it, and it's going to be hard. Just need to try and stay positive thinking. But like I'm saying, we'll get the win. I'm confident enough to say we'll get the win, but it won't be easy. And Rangers have to take their chances because we are known to have all these chances and not take them.
Yeah, we need to be more clinical in front of goal. And looking at the lineup, Laura, that we played yesterday against Livi, there it is on the screen now, guys. What changes, if any, would you make to that team for the game on Tuesday?
I really like Balogun, but I probably would play Suter, especially with Balogun having that injury. I would change Barisic for Ridvan, and I do like Barisic, and he did play well yesterday. Give him his credit when it's due, but I would put Ridvan in. Matondo out, Cortez, and I would keep the rest as it is.
Yeah, I mean, I talked a little bit on the video this afternoon, a little bit about how I would play. I think Butland in goal, obviously, that's a given. Tav, I'd go with Goldson, I'd go with Suter, I'd go with Ridvan as the back four. Lunny, I would play there. I would actually start. I'd start Sterling if he's fit. I like Dujon Sterling, and I think he will fight and battle against Aberdeen. And him and the other reason why I've been in that cup final against them, Lunny and Sterling ran that game. If he isn't fit, yeah, I agree. Stay with Jack. Cantwell, McCausland, yeah, agree. Cortez, I'd love to see him start, see how he goes. At least give him an hour, then bring Matondo off the bench to run at them. I think that's a good idea. And look, I know Aberdeen have got a slightly more physical approach, but for me, Silva, the one thing that he brings to the game, and it reminds me a little bit of Alfie, is he works the whole back four over. He doesn't just stick on the central defenders. He gives the whole back four working over. And it reminds me a little bit of Alfie, but a bit better than Alfie.
I miss that for Alfie. I do. I know he kind of started to let us down in the lead up to him leaving, but the way he did used to run the defenders riot up there, and I miss that. So I would like to see that again. Rangers need that.
Absolutely. Curry asks, was Sterling rested, not even on the bench? No, he was injured, Curry. He's got an impact injury. Clement spoke after the game that he said, before the game, sorry, he said that hopefully he'll be back for Tuesday, or if not, at least back for the Air game on Saturday. Stephen Clark says, Souttar's looked great the last game he played and has a great passing range. He certainly has. Looked very good indeed. Stuart says here he doesn't mind who starts as long as we win. I'm happy with a 19th minute Tav Penn. That would be just hilarious if that happened. Of course, that would be amazing if it happened. I would love that. Laura, we'll obviously talk a little bit more about the Aberdeen game closer to the time, but on Saturday, just looking way ahead of the future, we play Ayr United in the cup on Saturday, and they've got a certain new manager, Scott Brown, ex-Celtic. Do you think he'll get a lovely warm welcome at Ibrox on Saturday?
Standing ovation. I'm pretty sure. He's going to get what he deserves. That was another wind-up merchant. I'm actually really looking forward to this one on Saturday.
It should be absolutely hilarious. The welcome he gets, and I'm sure the Union Bears will have some hilarious song or hilarious banner to display, just to give him that warm welcome to Govan, to really let him know that he's been missed all this time.
The Union Bears will pull something out the bag. There is no way we are going to go and play Ayr with Scott Brown as a manager and just let it go. There's no way. That's not who we are as fans. Something, there'll have to be a chant, a banner, something.
And he deserves everything he gets, really does. Blue Nose John says, Neil Warnock has supposedly been filmed arriving at Aberdeen Airport, so I wonder if he'll be in charge against us. That could certainly make that game a whole lot more interesting if Neil Warnock is their manager. I do actually rate Neil Warnock as a manager. I think he's quite a decent manager, to be honest with you. Mark Anthony says, Laura, I hope that's a Strongbow you're drinking.
It's actually Iron Brew in a Tenants Cup.
Other good beverages are available, of course. Curry says Lego bricks at the ready or crayons for Saturday. Let's get them going there. I wonder if Scott Brown will show his Rangers tattoo for the cameras. Lol, says Stuart Henderson. Guys, so look, been fantastic. Warnock's away on the rigs. Could be. Someone else poking fun at his wig. I can see it coming already. Guys, obviously, we are in a great place at this moment in time. And look, I think it's like a lot of people have said in the live chat tonight, it's not a time to get carried away. It is a time to obviously take, as Philippe Clement always says, a game at a time. We've got the game on Tuesday, and then obviously the cup tie against Ayr. So look, it's a game at a time. It's a game, one game at a time. But Laura, there is really, I think, for the first time in a long time, a real sense of optimism at Ibrox.
Aye, absolutely. Like we're saying, like you're not wanting to get carried away, but at the same time, it's been a long time since we've felt this at Rangers, and I think we should enjoy it while it's happening. Of course, you have to keep a wee bit level-headed. We've not won the league, but we're allowed to be happy and excited the way things are going now. And it just, what makes it that wee bit better is we are starting to play brilliant, gelling great as a team at the same time Celtic are crumbling. So that we added. That's a wee added bonus for us. So let's not get carried away, but also enjoy the moment while we've got it.
Absolutely. Curry says, Curry's got a question for you. I don't think you caught our first podcast even. Where is Laura from?
I'm from Wishaw.
Pishy wishy.
There's so many ways to say it. Wishaw, Wishaw, wishy, pishy wishy, whatever you want, but wishy is how I would say it.
There you go, Curry. That's the answer to your question. Stuart says, with a tan like that, she's from Florida.
That's sunbeds.
No, it's Wishaw weather, isn't it, Laura? Every time.
It's always sunny in Wishaw, roasting.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Ryan Kent said he's looking forward to seeing Scott Brown again. Perhaps we could get Ryan Kent back just for Saturday, maybe, just to welcome him, maybe, if nothing else. Well, I love it. Right, guys, thank you so much to everyone who has joined in the live chat tonight. Like I said, guys, we are in a very good place. We have got a very positive feeling around the club. Obviously, we hope that continues on Tuesday night against Aberdeen. Obviously, keep looking out for all the daily news from the channel. Obviously, Laura as well getting involved with the channel now, which is going to be great for us. And as always, guys, if you've not yet subscribed to the channel, remember, this is no Patreon, no paywall. We don't charge you for any of the content here on this channel. We bring you daily news, podcasts, live streams, and all the places you can find us on social media have been scrolling along the bottom of the screen throughout the podcast, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok. We've got the Glasgow Rangers Nation official on TikTok. We've also got Laura on TikTok as well. So if you look out for that, Laura's got some really hilarious videos on there. Particularly, there was one posted about Alexa Play Sky One the other night, which was quite funny. If you haven't checked that out, please do so. You can email the channel as well, glasgowrangersnation@gmail.com. Laura, have you got any final thoughts as we kind of round it up now tonight?
I just keep enjoying the party. The Bears are having a party. Just keep enjoying it. Keep the faith, and we're going to get there. We need to be positive for Tuesday. Yep, that's my roundup. Just enjoy the moment while it's here.
Absolutely, guys. And like I said, just keep on obviously checking out the channel. Keep on watching, guys. Keep on smashing the likes. By smashing the like, you help so much. It helps the video to grow. It defeats that thing called the algorithm. Do you know what? I don't understand it. It was some American guy told me about it called Grid. Top guy, guys. So check it out. Right, guys, thank you so much. And on the way out, I always ask two things of you. Number one, smash that like. And number two, always remember, please never forget, we are the people.